Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Uh, Let us start with the seven realities this morning. Mamaji, you want to read the seven realities?
Yes, yes. Uh,
Please, Jai Baba.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is self in every finite self. The only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even life itself are sacrificed. The only real renunciation is that which abandons, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity and hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feelings for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is designed with the perfect calm to the will of God. Avtar Meher
Avtar
Baba Ki
Meher
Jai.
Baba Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Last week we had the incident where I know we all got together, but we could not read. I pray to Baba that we don't have any occurrences like that frequently. So, what was supposed to be 93 last week will be session 93 this morning. And we are reading about Nargis and the husband Savak, right? I think, yeah, Nargis and Savak. And if you recollect, 2 weeks back, Sanjay ji was giving us a little more background on their life as well. So let's pick up action from that point. Ashok ji, you want to start by reading first?
Yeah, okay.
Jay
Is
Baba, please.
i- my voice is loud and clear, I hope.
Yes, yes, please.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Since Nargis was frail and delicate of constitution, ashram life was not easy for her. Once, not long after the family had joined Baba, while traveling on a bus with him, she began to feel weak. In addition to the accustomed rigors of her new lifestyle, Nargis was still recovering from an illness. Finally, to her relief, the bus stopped for a while and Baba stepped out and stood by the bus. Suddenly, the thought flashed through her mind: what would happen to my three children if I were to die? Baba, the omniscient one, turned to her and lovingly responded to her thought. Don't worry, he gestured. You will not die soon. I am with your children always. This greatly surprised Nargis. She was deeply comforted by the by this timely response and felt sorry that she had doubted Baba. In the challenges that she had to face in her life, she began to feel that Baba was definitely helping her, and this convinced her of his omnipotence. The seed of trust and reliance on Baba was sown in her heart, and gradually she came to accept him as her spiritual master. Her link with Baba was forged by this ongoing love. Over the succeeding 14 years, her three children were sent by Baba to the best schools and received their education. Now, in 1954, with her children finishing their schooling, Nargis moved back to Bombay where she could attend to the needs of Adi and Naju. So, with his permission, she left the quiet atmosphere of Mehrabad and took up residence in the noisy, crowded city once again. However, her inner contact with beloved Baba remained intact. Once one comes into close contact with Baba, experiencing his presence is not dependent upon the proximity of his physical form. To follow his wish is what matters. This is what maintains the link with his omniscient love. Exactly, I was thinking that should be underlined.
Yeah.
Uh, 2 days. Yeah, shall I read it again?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Once one comes into close contact with Baba, experiencing his presence is not dependent upon the proximity of his physical form. To follow his wish is what matters. This is what maintains the link with his omniscient love. 2 days after Nargis's departure from Hyderabad to Bombay on July 6, 1954, one of Baba's close followers, Gabriel Pascal, passed away in Roosevelt Hospital in New York. A renowned Hollywood personality, Pascal had been working for some years on a film project on Meher Baba. At his death, another Baba follower and co-worker on this project, Keval Baba. It is finished. Phoenix, Baba's nickname for Pascal, loved you deeply. In reply, Baba sent the following telegram. Pascal has come to me. Love from Baba. Thus, a brilliant and dramatic career came to an end in loving remembrance of the divine beloved.
Uh, if you can pause for a minute, Sanjay ji, you want to say something, or was that?
Yeah, yeah. Now we moved from story of Nargis. I just wanted
Hmm.
to give you a couple of more nuggets. See,
Sure,
Nargis,
please.
as you said, was she was from a very sophisticated family, Parsi family, married Savak out of their love, and she was the one. She was busy tailoring clothes for everyone around in Mehrabad in those days. She was the one. She used to cook in the Indian hearth with
Okay.
wood kind of a thing in that heat of Mehrabad. You can remember we can't even do it on the gas stove these days. You know, we feel so much of heat. And early morning she would get up and cook for everyone, especially chapatis. And because the lunch used to be very early those days, right? So another incident that I remember from the book is that once there were some guests who were to visit Meher Baba on the upper hill there, and he, uh, the sweepers had a strike. I remember those days the toilet used to be the open defecation, that kind of dumping kind of a toilet, right? And they were all full, and this Nargis and another woman felt that it will be very bad if they want to go to the toilet and find it like this, so messy. So they got up early in the morning and cleaned the toilet. All the toilets, the manual
Wow.
dumps were, cleaned
The
by
night
them.
soil was
Yeah, yeah,
removed.
yeah,
Basically, the night
yeah, yeah.
soil is what used to be called night soil, and you remove it
Okay.
from the pit.
Yeah, yeah.
Old model
So
of toilets. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. The normally, I in my college days also it used to be like that. They have a metal box kind of a thing where it is dumped and you pull it out and throw it somewhere else. So these are,
Yeah.
and the family was put up at the lower Mirabad. Baba had kept them there. They had given them a house, a small house. So there's just reinforce that the book is worth picking up and reading. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah,
just thinking the same as you were
yeah,
saying all these things. Yeah,
yeah. He
yeah,
he gives the ocean. Yeah, Jai Baba.
yeah. And before we start, Pascal, isn't that the person that made the movie where, the famous one where Baba's sitting on Meherazad Hill and making.
No. He
Oh,
was
that's another filmmaker.
no
Okay, okay. Because that looks much later,
Vander
and
somebody.
he's, yeah.
He was from
Yes, correct.
Vander
Yeah,
Horst or something. That's what's his name. Yeah,
correct, correct, correct. He's
you're another
Dutch.
person.
He's
Yeah,
Dutch, and this is
yeah.
an
He was
American.
Dutch. That fellow.
He was
Yeah, yeah.
Dutch.
Jai
Correct,
Baba.
correct, correct, correct.
Jai
Yeah,
Baba.
Baba. Thank you, thank you.
A genius in the world of filmmaking, Pascal first met Baba in Zurich, Switzerland in 1934. In his first interview as one of the Mandli, later commented, Pascal went in as a lion and came out as a lamb. Baba's radiant presence touched his heart deeply. Baba expressed interest in Pascal's work, and after the meeting, Pascal would write to him about his various film projects. In the 50s, Pascal began to apply his energy and enthusiasm towards a film on Baba's life entitled The Slippers of the Perfect Master. Intended for wide commercial distribution, this movie would include film footage from the anniversary of Baba's birthday to be celebrated in Andhra on February 25th, 1954. To oversee this filming, Pascal had already bought plane tickets to India. However, unavoidable circumstances forced him to cancel these plans. Soon afterwards, he fell ill and was admitted to Roosevelt Hospital in New York. In June 1954, while in hospital, Gabriel wrote Baba two letters. The excerpts below give some sense of the flavor of his relationship with Baba. My beloved Baba, I'm like a newborn boy starting to live again, but it goes slowly. You gave me a terrific new outlook about human life, and now I see everything from a new angle. Here I am, here I
Here
had,
I
sorry,
had. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, here I
No,
had,
no.
I confess, many relapses in my health and many temptations. I will get healthy in Baden, and I will be by the end of August in your everlasting arms. That is in India. I know you are always with me. Without you, I would be nothing but a little pariah in this world. My body is so weak as never before. So you have the balance in your own master's hands. I trust that you are playing the divine game according to human rules. May some Maybe sometimes you hear a frivolous remark from me, even in my dying pain, but you know that thousands of years ago I was a pixie and a faun, and I was allowed to make fun of the gods. And God, man himself, and that this is my blood. So please forgive me if sometimes I talk like thousands of years ago, but I know that you love me as the gods loved then, and that my only comfort in this valley of misery. Ever your Phoenix Gabriel. There is
So
a
he's
cross.
signing off as Phoenix and then adding his name. So Phoenix is Baba's nickname. So this is being quoted from Awakeners, Volume 2, Number 2, Fall of 1954, pages 6 and 7. What I was checking was a few things. Baden-Baden is just a spa town, so maybe he just went and spent the time there to recover. And I think all of these are Peter Pan references. Peter Pan was a book and then a very successful Hollywood franchise that made a movie. So pixies are supernatural characters and fawns are supernatural characters. So he's, I mean, such a uh, loving, personal, and life full of, I mean, full of life. This letter is so beautiful. One of a class of, let me just check. One of a class of lustful rural gods represented as a man with a goat's horns, ears, legs, and tail. So it's pastoral god that's being referred to here. And of course, he says God Pan, maybe the, let's see what God Pan is. Greek god of the, oh, it's not Peter Pan. So it's all Greek and Victorian age gods, I guess. So this is Pan, Greek god of the mountain wilds, shepherds, flocks, rustic music, fertility, spring, and theatrical criticism, with the hind quarters, legs, and horns of a goat. So like the fawn is a junior representation, and the pan is the dude, the big one, right? So he's equating himself and Baba like that. Yeah. So I thought that'll give us more context. So I just
Yes,
wanted to bring out those. Yeah.
that was interesting.
Yeah. Pixie, fawn, and pan.
Pascal was indeed a brilliant personality. Throughout his life, he was torn between his search for God and his passion for the flesh. He lived like a prince, but he was perpetually in debt and died penniless. Yet after his death, the musical My Fair Lady, based on the play Pygmalion, for which the author George Bernard Shaw had given Pascal all the rights, brought a fortune Pascal's successors. What an irony of fate! But Phoenix won the real treasure, for as Baba said in his cable, Pascal has come to me. Thus, by Baba's grace, Pascal the Phoenix was enabled to open his wings and fly to the abode of Baba's love.
So I think My Fair Lady is, of course, a very famous musical. And I didn't know that there was a Baba connection till literally now. So that's very interesting. It's very famous on the New York Broadway, and of course, it came out also as a movie and all of that. So that's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. It was an epic movie, and it
Correct, correct.
and and as you said, this connection with Baba is something I we all learned today here.
Yeah. So I think you're just nursing a cold. I didn't realize earlier. So I hope you recover soon.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. So
Is my voice clear? If somebody else wants to read, also should give a chance.
it's up to anybody
Or,
who
sh- or
wants.
or should I continue?
Yeah, you can read for a little more and then
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, yeah,
check if Mamaji or
yeah,
Sanjayji wants. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, okay.
I'll read for some time.
After Ashokji. Sure. Thanks.
On Religion and Silence Day, in July of 1954, several of Baba's disciples wrote a memorable article entitled The Truth About Religion. Based on Baba's teachings and incorporating excerpts from his messages, the final English draft was read out to Baba, who agreed that it should be translated and published in Hindi, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, and Gujarati. The English text was first published in the Awakener, and some selected passages are reproduced below. Irrespective of whether a person believes through the medium of ideas or idols, with sincere love and faith in God, he or she can never get can get ever nearer to him, who is already the nearest of all.
I think you can slowly read it again, please, so that
Yeah,
it
yeah,
comes through
yeah, yeah.
correctly. Because yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sanjayji, you had something to say before Ashokji starts.
Yeah, just a small observation that Baba
Mhm.
included Malayalam there actually.
And Tamil,
And Tamil, still
right?
Baba had gone to Chennai
Yes,
three
yes,
time
but
1934, those periods.
yeah, yeah,
But I was surprised to see Malayalam Baba as per the Malayalam translation, where we
yes,
hardly find any Malayali Baba lovers except for
yes.
Nair. You know, you
And
have.
I think KK Ramakrishnan was originally Malayali, but he never
Yeah,
lived in
right.
Kerala. Yeah,
Yeah. So just these
yeah.
two gentlemen we know who were
That's it.
originally
That's it.
Malayali. Jai Baba.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. And even now, the Tamil following is probably very, very less compared to the population. So both these two
Yeah,
southern
Tamil.
states are much less represented.
Yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I was also
Yeah.
amused by finding Tamil and Malayalam. Yeah. Yes, Ashokji.
Yeah. Irrespective of whether a person believes through the medium of ideas or idols, with sincere love and faith in God, he or she can get ever nearer to him, who is already the nearest of all. The essence of faith lies not in the shape or manner of one's belief, but in the depth and sincerity behind it. The faith that can move mountains can and does move the greatest of them. I think this is worth underlining the last line, last two lines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Finish it. It's very powerful. I will underline, but the
Yeah, yeah.
faith that can move mountains can and does move the greatest of them. And then
The
what is the
mountain,
greatest of them? The mountain of ignorance that denies an individual a glimpse of one's own true divinity and also conceals one's true identity. Very
correct.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
God is freedom, bliss, knowledge, eternal. To put him exclusively within the four walls of man-made churches is but added proof of our ignorance. God is fathomless. To bind him with narrow and limited channels of dogmas, creeds, and churchified conventions is to admit that we
1 second. Yeah.
lack the true perception of God's omniscience. Unconsciously, man is always seeking, aspiring, yearning for something higher. Though he misinterprets the longing in the elusive expression of ambition, power, and human love. Faithful or infidel, touchable or untouchable, black, white, brown, or yellow. Every man and woman is ultimately destined for the supreme goal.
There's a footnote. The
Yeah, yeah.
footnote is talking about, okay, it's from the same Awakener reference. Pages are 10 to 110. Okay.
Meher Baba has followers from among manifold religions. At one time or another, they have been asked by friends and strangers whether Meher Baba asked his followers to give up their religion. On the contrary, Meher Baba states, follow whatever religion you like, but eternal, sorry, follow its innermost core. Do not make a mockery of it by adopting the conventional husk of religion and ignoring the underlying truth. Religion should not be a convenience to be indulgent, but the words of truth to be lived. I belong to no religion. Every religion belongs to me. My personal religion is my being, the infinite one, and the religion I impart to all is love for God, and which is the truth of all religions.
Very, very beautiful and profound message, right? We have heard it before, but I'm just repeating what Baba is saying here. Words of truth to be lived. So, Baba frequently uses this husk of religion, right? So he says, go to the innermost core and not get lost in the conventional husk of religion, right? And finally, he says, I belong to no religion. Every religion belongs to me. Again, multiple times. My personal religion is, yeah, okay. And that also is from the same Awakener reference, as you can see. And maybe we can rotate the reading if Mamaji is
Yeah,
ready. We
I
can,
just, just
yeah,
I just have one comment, and
please.
so basically we could term it as the universal religion or the religion for all.
Yeah, so I think the problem with, for me, the word religion itself is a problem right now, right? So the moment you say religion, you're defining something which has uh, in and out, as in somebody belongs and somebody doesn't. So I
Yeah.
think something more universal and all encompassing. So we need a new word, new
Okay.
word for the rest of humanity. I understand what you mean when you say, when you just said what you said. But when you say that to an outsider, he's going to think, oh, here we go. This is another religion. No, this
Uh,
is not. That's what I mean.
yeah. Or can we think of a term universal order?
Yeah, maybe. But
I mean,
again, it
this is just
makes
between.
it look like something more exotic or secretive, like Freemasonry or something like that. But yeah.
No, no, this is just a thought.
Yeah, we'll have to keep thinking, and I'm sure Baba will help us in giving the right semantics around this. But I understand what you're saying, and I think we all are aligned on it. Yeah.
Okay, may I
Okay,
take over
Mamaji,
from the
this, yes,
previous?
this passage, yeah.
Yes, we had a nice discussion on religion. So when we uh, spell it, or when we think of it, or when we say it, we are always putting things in a boundary, and that is the
Yes.
biggest problem. And boundaries will have some doors, some windows, and
Yes.
entry, exit, all that. So we need to get rid of that limitations of this boundary.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we don't need a new term. I think if that was needed, Baba would have given us.
Yes, that's true as
So,
well.
so just absorb the words of Baba, what he's trying to say.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Yes, yes.
behave in the
Ever.
way that he expects our respects to all religions equally.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
because of our religion that we are born in. We have a tendency to stick to that because we know about it. We have passed through the rituals and festivals and everything as a cultural thing. But we need to be in our hearts of hearts respect all religions, and especially in the
Yes.
current environment that we are in, the news laundry that we wash every day. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Beautiful thoughts.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay, continuing. This passage is reminiscent of another laconic statement of Baba. All religions are great, but God is greater. In the last week of June, the following instructions concerning the observance of Silence Day were sent out to Baba's followers in India. Avatar Meher Baba desires all his lovers to observe fast and complete silence beginning from 6 p.m. on July 10, 1954 to 6 p.m. of July 11, 1954, Indian Standard Time, to try to keep pure thoughts and actions during the period of fast and silence, to repeat inwardly, inaudibly, any one name of God as frequently as possible during the 24 hours of fast and silence. So here he has also given the choice of any name of God.
Mm.
So that boundary of religion is also
Dissolved.
brought in this context. Okay. During the period of fast, tea and coffee is permitted thrice. Drinking water may be taken. Drinking water may be taken frequently. Reference 7, Life Circular number 19, June 23, 1954. Meher Baba had begun observing silence on July 10, 1925, and his silence remained unbroken for over 43 years until he put aside his man form on January 31, 1969. From 1953 onwards, almost every year a circular was issued at Baba's direction, giving specific instructions to be followed by his followers on Silence Day, if they wished to do so. Sometimes he asked them to repeat a name of God audibly or inaudibly. Other times he wanted them to pause or keep silence or both. In the last circular of its kind issued by Adi K. Irani in May 1968, Avatar Meher Baba expressed his wish as follows. Last circular. Okay. On the 10th of July, the 43rd anniversary of my silence, I want all my lovers to observe complete silence for 24 hours from midnight of 9th July to midnight of 10th July 1968. Adi Baba's secretary added the following lines. Please note that Baba has given no option of a fast for those who may find it impractical to observe silence. None must write for further clarification to Baba concerning it.
And
Life
that's the
Circular number
subsequent.
69, May 15, 1968. This was the last time that Baba gave a specific instruction on his lover to his lovers about July 10. Now that the avataric cloak, the physical form that infinite God put on to become Meher Baba, the cloak is the physical form that infinite God put on to become Meher Baba, is removed from our sight. It is natural for some to ask the Mandli whether or not silence should be observed on this particular day. In 1979, Mani Meher Baba's sister, shared some of her thoughts in an informal talk on this subject in Mandli Hall at Mehratas. She said, there should be no question in the minds of anyone, Baba lovers, whether we should observe silence or not. It is an opportunity that we should not let pass by. Every lover of Baba, to my mind, should observe silence on the 10th of July, Silence Day. You salute your beloved Baba by giving him a rose. You would not call that a routine or ritual. It is an expression of your love, a piece of your heart. Baba has observed silence for all, for each one of us. And if we cannot give that little response for one day, if we cannot keep our lips closed for one day of the year, then that's too bad. I don't feel that by keeping silence, we are going to help the world or anything like that. That is not why we are doing it. It is just a salute in homage to his love for us, an expression of our love for him. Beloved Baba observed silence for all these years, and for one day he has said, we can share it with him too. How blessed we are. In 1954, on July 10, more than 70% of those from a particular village in the district of Hamirpur, UP, fasted and observed silence for 24 hours. A blessed village indeed. The opportunity to observe silence on July 10 each year, as mentioned in the last life circular, remains an open invitation from him to his lovers. To observe silence on this day is to invite Baba to revitalize one's relationship with him. In exceptional situations, however, I personally feel the decision rests with the individual. Whatever one decides each year will please Baba as long as it is honest and sincere. He understands us more than we understand ourselves. He understands us more than we understand ourselves.
As usual, gems from Bal Natu. So he's giving us the privilege of making the decision, but the test is you have to be honest and sincere, right? So you make the decision whether you want to maintain silence or not, but be honest and sincere about it. And then he tops it up with this statement. Very nice, very nice.
Rhoda's key meeting with the Avatar. In the middle of July 1st, I received a letter. In the middle of July, I received a letter from Eric written by Baba's directive. It stated, Baba repeats, just to remind you once again that you should try your best not to forget to give life circular number 18. Reference Meetings at Mehrabad, September 29, 30, 1954. To Baba lovers, devotees, and admirers known to you. The most important part of this letter is that Baba, this time, not only wishes but personally wants all his lovers, men only, to attend these meetings which have their special spiritual significance. Baba sends his love. Accordingly, I shared the news with my friends and relatives. The response was not encouraging, but I had done work. The rest was up to Baba. What was important to me was the trust Baba had reposed in me by assigning to me this task. Through this small task, I felt that I had He had expressed his intimacy with me, planting in my heart the seeds of sharing his glorious life with others in the future. At this time, Adi was beginning to receive reservations for accommodation at Mehrabad from Baba lovers who wished to attend the meeting. He kept Baba informed of the names and total number of those expected. Meanwhile, Padri, Pendu, and Chagan were busy making arrangements for accommodation at Lower Mehrabad. Saroj and Adi were given the task of seeing to the comfort and convenience of the Westerners who were to stay at Upper Mehrabad from September 11. Bill Beckett and Charles Purdom, longtime disciples of Baba from England, reached Bombay on August 20, 3 weeks earlier, as there were no steamers available that would reach India in time for the meeting. They stayed in a good hotel in Bombay, visiting frequently with Meherji and Nariman until the time for them to leave for Mehrabad. Baba decided to leave Satara for Ahmednagar on August 31st, stopping for a few days in Pune on the way. The day before his departure, Rhoda Dubash, one of his dear ones, had a memorable meeting with him at Rosewood, the bungalow where the men Monday were residing. The meeting came about like this. In the 50s, Rhoda and her husband Adi, uh, in the 50s, Rhoda and her husband Adi were living in Karachi, Pakistan. In August 1954, Rhoda came to India for vacation with her two sons, planning to stay at Panchgani, a health resort near Mahabaleshwar. But while she was in this country, Rhoda wondered whether it would be possible to have Baba's darshan. So she wrote to Baba's secretary Adi asking where Baba was staying at the time. He replied that Baba was in Satara, and although he was not actually in seclusion, he was not seeing any of his lovers. Despite this somewhat discouraging news, Rhoda still yearned for Baba's blessed darshan since she had not seen him for over 2 years. During a stay at Panchgani, she learned that one of her cousins occasionally visited Satara, some 50 miles away, on business, leaving in the morning and returning in the evening. She asked if sometimes she could accompany him. She asked if sometimes she could accompany him. Okay. Her cousin readily agreed, so on August 30, Rhoda set out with eager hopes of seeing her beloved Lord Meher Baba. Arriving at Satara, Rhoda asked her cousin not to take her to Grafton, the bungalow where Baba was staying. But on the way, Rhoda was filled with qualms. What would Baba say about my dropping in unannounced? She wondered, what am I doing here? But she persuaded herself that she had to go ahead with it, since she had something very personal and profound that she wanted to tell him. In any case, it was too late for her to turn back now. As the car drew near to the bungalow, she asked her cousin to stop at a little distance from the gate. There she got down, asking him to pick her up again in the evening. Knowing Baba's ways, Rhoda suspected that if a car was waiting for her, Baba would see her for a few minutes and then send her packing. But on foot, she would be helpless to depart. All fair in love and war, she concluded as she watched the car drive off. When it was only a tiny speck in the distance, he turned and walked to the gate to Baba's residence. Rano Gali, one of Baba's American disciples, appeared and asked what he wanted. Rhoda replied, I have come to see Meher Baba. He is not seeing anyone. Rano replied, that's all right. Just give him a message. Tell him that a lover of his has come from Karachi to dedicate her life at his feet. Rhoda answered. Rano was touched at Rhoda's words and instantly reached over the gate to shake hands with Rhoda. Wait a minute, she said and disappeared into the house. A few minutes later, Rano returned and said, I have given your message to Baba. He is very happy, wants you to come to Rosewood, where the men Mandley are staying at 2 o'clock. Rhoda was overjoyed. But could you please tell me where Rosewood is? Yeah. Why don't you have anyone to take you there? Asked Rano. Rhoda was all innocence. Not a soul, she answered. Rhino asked her to wait again. Rhoda was sure that now Baba would ask her in. In a short time, however, Dr. Goher approached her and they lovingly embraced. Goher told her, Baba wants me to take you to Kohir Satarawala's house. Under Baba's direction, he will take you to Rosewood at 2 o'clock, and Baba will see you there. With this, Gohar escorted Rhoda to Kohir's house and cycled back. Now, years later, Rhoda laughingly says, well, you can't say I didn't try to see Baba at Grafton, but Baba is the avatar and he is always one up on us.
Yeah. No, but it's amazing how these stories play out.
Yes. Kohia welcomed Rhoda with open arms since since bringing her to Baba would give him an opportunity to see Baba too. Immediately after lunch, Rhoda was impatient to be off, even though there was more than enough time. So she and Kohian set out on a shortcut across the field. They had just reached the main road when they saw a car coming towards them honking. It's Baba, it's his car, Kohir exclaimed, stopping abruptly. The car drove up alongside and Eric's head popped out through the window. You couldn't wait, he said to Rhoda smilingly. Well, Baba sent his car for you. He told me that it's too hot for you to walk, so I should bring you to Rosewood in the car. But where does Baba sit? Asked Rhoda. The front seat, came the reply. Rhoda jumped into the front seat and sat silently throughout the drive, touched by Baba's thoughtfulness. When they reached Rosewood, Erich told her, go in, Baba is waiting for you. Rhoda entered the main hall, but since her eyes, accustomed to the bright sunlight, hadn't yet adjusted to the comparative darkness inside, she couldn't see Baba straight away. Then suddenly she saw him sitting in an armchair to one side of the wall. Love radiated from his whole being. As she approached hesitantly, he smiled and opened his arms to her. The next the next second she was in his embrace. There are moments in life for which one cannot find adequate words. For Rhoda, this was one of them. Suffice it to say that time stood still as the beloved embraced her. Love, beauty, peace flooded her being. He had come home. They had come home. Baba asked Rhoda to be seated at his feet and gestured, "Your love makes me very happy." He inquired about her husband Badi and also about her son Merwan, but he did not ask Rhoda about her second son Homi. During the intimate conversation that followed, Baba put an unexpected question to her. "If I were to ask you to give me one of your sons, would you do so willingly?" Rhoda was overjoyed, interpreting this to mean that Baba wanted one of her sons to one day live with him as one of the resident Mandli. He spontaneously said, "Yes, Baba." The answer pleased him very much. It was only 6 months later, when her younger son Homi died in an accident, that the real significance Baba's question came home to her. But that's another episode of love and obedience in Adi and Rhoda's life with Baba. Then Baba called to Babu, one of the resident Mandli, and asked, "Do you know her?" When Babu replied in the negative, Baba showed surprise and said, "Why don't you know her? She is the wife of Adi Dubai." Then, giving Rhoda a mischievous wink, he continued, "Adi, the tall, dark, handsome fellow who nearly drowned Pendu and Erich in the creek when they were in Karachi." Baba then asked Erich to tell Babu what had happened at Karachi. While Erich told the story, Baba illustrated it with his vivid gestures, entering into the spirit of the episode. Rhoda was fascinated by the simplicity and eloquence of his movement, by his fingers which flew over the alphabet board, and by the beauty of his many expressions. Watching him, her heart overflowed with love, bringing to life the words, "My cup runneth over, my cup runneth over." Okay, or filled.
It's a quotation from the Bible, the Hebrew Bible. I have more than enough for my needs.
Okay. After a short time, Baba asked Rhoda to wait at the other end of the hall while he gave some last minute instructions to the Mandli concerning their impending departure for Pune the next day. He told her, "You are very fortunate to have come today. If you had come a day later, I would not have been there. I would not have been there, been here." Okay. She said quietly at the back of the hall. She sat quietly at the back of the hall, savoring the presence of her divine beloved as he attended to affairs of the household, tears rolling down Rhoda's cheeks. She was too far from Baba for him to see her distinctly, and she gave no outward indication apart from the tears themselves that she was weeping. Yet, even while engrossed in conversation with the Mandli, Baba, with a look of compassion, flashed a gesture to her, "Don't cry," and immediately resumed his discussion with the Mandi. In his perfect timing, the all-knowing one never misses a beat. In his perfect timing, the all-knowing never misses a beat.
Fantastic.
Shortly thereafter, Baba asked one of the Mandli for a certain booklet. Then, calling Rhoda, he handed it to her with the instruction, "Go into the small room and read this. It will help you to understand." Again, Baba had shown his compassion. For just that very morning, on her way to Kohiyar's house, Rhoda had asked Dr. Goher, "What does Baba teach? We should simply love him." Goher had answered, which was too brief for Rhoda. But now Baba, by giving her the pamphlet, was responding with his characteristic sensitivity to the unspoken question of her heart. As she took the booklet, Rhoda thought, "At least I have something given to me personally by Baba." But Baba, with a twinkle in his eye, gestured, "By the way, don't forget to return." Uh, Forget to return the booklet after you have read it. It belongs to Babu. Someone then took Rhoda to the adjoining room and pointed to a place on the floor where she could sit and read. The booklet was entitled Truth of Religion, also called Truth About Religion. This was the article written by Baba's disciple the previous July. As she prepared to read, Rhoda noticed that she was not alone. Gustaji, the disciple who, under Baba's instructions, had been observing silence for many years, was sitting cross-legged on the floor, patching his old coat. He nodded to Rhoda, his rosy-cheeked face lighting up with a sweet smile. Watching him, Rhoda thought, "He just needs wings and he did be a perfect archangel." Then she plunged into the booklet and remained engrossed in her reading for some some time. She had just finished when someone came into the room to say that Baba was calling for her. As she entered the main hall, she saw her cousin taking Baba's darshan. Returning to Grafton as they had prearranged that morning, he had been directed from there to Rosewood, where he had the good fortune of being ushered in to meet the God man. So now the time had come for Rhoda to leave. To ease the pangs of parting, the compassionate beloved gave her some consolation by reminding her that she would be seeing him again in 12 days' time at the Wadia Park Darshan in Ahmednagar. Once again, Rhoda was enfolded in his beautiful, all compassionate embrace. What an unforgettable day this had been, which Rhoda refers to as her key meeting with Baba. Or though Rhoda had first met Baba in 1945, this encounter in Satara was her first intimate time with him, since she had become convinced that Meher Baba was truly God in human form, the avatar of the age. This inner certainty had drawn within her one fine morning in 1952 as she was standing near a window in her house in Karachi. Suddenly, the conviction of his divine status flowed through her entire being. It was so strong and vibrant that it left her filled with wonder and an exalted sense of upliftment. This experience had aroused in her the restlessness to tell Baba personally about his gift to her and to express her gratitude by dedicating her life totally to him. Hence her feeling of compulsion to see him at Satara. During her visit to Rosewood, she experienced the certainty that Baba had indeed accepted her and that he knew the deepest feelings in her heart.
Very touching.
Yes, this is a sort of a unspoken communication between the beloved and the lover.
Yeah.
The touching moments of Rhoda's key meeting with the Avatar remind me of a small incident in my visit to Mehrabad in the mid 40s. A number of us had gathered with Baba in the old ashram building for a singing program. When it was over, Baba teasingly gestured one of his dear ones to sing. It was expecting, I was expecting a bhajan or a ghazal, but to my surprise, it turned out to be a Western song, the first I had heard in Baba's presence, sung in an unassuming yet endearing manner. The opening lines, as far as I remember, were, should I reveal exactly how I feel? Should I confess I love you? What an enviable open confession of love in response to a casual request of the beloved. And Baba smiled his wonderful smile, as I imagined he would have done when Rhoda, having offered herself so naturally and freely to Baba, left Rosewood with his love deep within her heart, nay, permeating her entire being.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Some people are indeed blessed,
Yes,
right?
somebody else can take over from now.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you for reading. And yes, anybody else wants to read?
I can read.
Sure. Okay. It's the next chapter. So this is the 1954 public Sahvas, I think, at Wadia Park.
Yeah, thousands flock for the Avatar Darshan, Ahmednagar, 1952, part 16. Mildred, one of Baba's family on Mehrabad Hill. In early September, shortly after Baba's arrival at Mehrazad from Satara, we received a cable from Eleanor Kit, in bracket Elizabeth Norina Kitty, that one of his dear ones, Mildred Kale, had passed away on the 8th of that month in Myrtle Beach. This gentle and most devoted Baba lover was an intimate friend of Countess Nadine Tolstoy, one of Baba's early
Countess.
Western
Countess is basically royal family. So Count is
Okay.
male, and then Countess is female. Wife of a count is Countess. So it's a
Okay.
royal family. So Nadine Tolstoy was royal, and she was also related to the famous Tolstoy,
Okay.
the author. Yeah.
Yeah. Friend of Countess Nadine Tolstoy, one of Baba's early Western disciples. It was through Nadine that Mildred first heard of him. One day, years later, in the late 30s, when Nadine was living in Baba's ashram in India, she showed a photograph of Mildred to Baba. He accepted it gladly, and his alphabet board spelled out a great soul, then placed the picture to his pocket with an endearing touch and smile. During the 40s, when Mildred was over 80 years old, she lived in Seattle, Washington. After accepting Baba as the God man, she became the head of the Seattle Baba Group. She was assisted in her work of spreading Baba's message by Warren Hilly, who used to refer to Baba as the Wondrous One. In 1948, with Warren's help, Mildred published some beautiful Baba cards and later a special message that was received from Baba entitled The Religion of Life. This message has not appeared in any other books published since that time, so it seems that it was Baba's personal gift to her. I wish to share a photograph from it.
A paragraph from it.
Oh, sorry. I wish to share a paragraph from it.
Yes, yes.
Living truth. Man cannot permanently escape his own divine self and must inevitably yield to the life-giving truth, which finally overtakes him, not in the form of skillfully woven structure of dry and intellectual tenets, but in the form of an incarnation or living manifestation. It then becomes an irresistible and emancipatory power, challenging the false without compromise and releasing the limitless divine life of love and understanding. Man can be dislodged from the sandy land of empty words only when he voluntarily and wholeheartedly surrenders himself to a perfect spiritual master who is who in his example brings to him the religion of life. The religion of life is not fettered by mechanically repeated formulae of the unenlightened, purblind, and limited intellect. It is dynamically energized by the assimilation of truth grasped through lucid and unerring intuition, which never falters and never fails because it has emerged out of the fusion of head and heart, intellect and love. Mildred was widely read
Hey,
on
if
the
I can
subject.
pause you for a minute,
Yeah,
it's a very beautiful message, and it's a follow up
Can
to
you
our
repeat
earlier
once
discussion.
again?
Yeah, I think you can read it again. It's a very beautiful message. The footnote is saying that it was sent by Baba to Mildred in 1948. We'll read the whole thing again slowly, and
yeah,
it answers and supports what Sanjay ji said when we were talking about an alternate word. So Baba nails it. He says it's just the same word. We use religion. We just say religion of life. Okay.
yes.
So let's read. Uh, yeah, again, religion
Yeah.
of life. Yeah.
Man cannot permanently escape his own divine self and must inevitably yield to the life giving truth, which finally overtakes him, not in the form of a skillful woven structure of dry and intellectual tenets, but in the form of an incarnation or living manifestation. It then
I think
becomes.
this sentence,
Mhm.
uh, what I pick up from this sentence is not all the, say, as we say in the uh, Hindu philosophy, a lot of phrases or sentences are repeated from all our Vedas and other things. So, which finally overtakes him not in the form of skillful woven structure of dry and intellectual tenets, but in the form of an incarnation or living manifestation. So we need to have a master and a living incarnation that's more than all the tenets uh, spelled out now and then. Am I correct there?
Yes, you're correct. So
Yes.
instead of just focusing on all the statements and, as you rightly said, repetitive assertions that the traditional religions focus on and unduly get lost in, the master comes in with a manifestation. Yeah,
Yes. Okay, you can
Yeah,
continue because this is so powerful
yeah,
passage that we read.
indeed, indeed.
it then becomes an irresistible and emancipatory power, challenging the false without compromise and releasing the limitless divine life of love and understanding. Man can be dislodged from the sandy land of empty words only when he voluntarily and wholeheartedly surrenders himself to a perfect spiritual master who, in his example, brings to him the religion of life. The religion of life is not okay. The religion of life is not fettered by mechanically repeated formulae of the unenlightened, purblind, and limited intellect. It is dynamically energized by the assimilation of truth grasped through lucid and unerring intuition, which never falters and never fails because it has emerged out of the fusion of head and heart, intellect and love.
Okay,
So this
I'll
Mildred,
please
also
pause. Yeah,
impresses
yeah,
on the intellect to intuition and intellect to
exactly.
love, heart, intellect, and love. Okay.
And I think the manifestation, living manifestation, is broadened to include not just the avatar, but also the perfect master. If we read the second part, it says the master, in reference to surely both avatar as well as perfect master. And yeah, I think intuition is what is again referred to. Very, very beautiful way to understand what one needs to do, right? The religion of life. Very beautiful message.
Yeah.
Jai Baba. Uh, so this sort of reiterates the importance of pure love and complete surrender over and above the the mechanical or just uh, any of these karma kandas, the various religious practices done without shraddha or without love. I mean, it brings out the which we have read earlier and have been uh, exposed to, but this again brings out that the religion of life. Of course, it's a very good word, a very good phrase for what we were discussing. But and it also brings out that eh, eh, the not so important that various karma kanda or the religious practices done without uh, pure love is just futile. And we just have to uh, you know get
So
affected by
move
the
away. Yeah,
to
please,
move
please
away
continue.
from the traditions and religious practices without the intent behind it, and we just have to go to the assimilation of truth. It's very beautifully mentioned here. uh, I think it's worth highlighting.
Yes, I will do that. I think the other way, I agree with all you said, all that you said, but another way of looking at it is you have to go from the dry husk. So all these words make so much sense and are able to explain things better, right? So you move away from the dry husk of religion and move to the innermost core, which is the true religion of life, right? So yeah, it's just beautiful, very, very beautiful.
I really
I
echo
will.
what you and thank you for putting in the the words which we had read. The dry husk, uh, dry husk.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're coming to life as we read this message. So all of those were just words, but if you read this message and see it in the context, it sounds more powerful and more clearer, I would say.
And it's aptly titled "Living Truth."
Yeah. Okay, Ashish ji.
yes, Mildred was widely read on the subject of spirituality. but found that it came to life only after hearing about Meher Baba. Baba's silence, which passeth all understanding, spoke directly to her heart and initiated her into a living relationship with God. Baba, the living truth, helped her to live a life in which head and heart were blended in everyday living offered in service to Him. Sometime around 1950, she moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, where a Baba group gathered around her. Owing to her advanced age and dedicated life, she was known endearingly to the group as Mother. In 1952, Baba came to America, his first visit since 1934. Mildred met him for the first time in July in New York. Although she had been devoted to him for many years, it was only now, at the age of 90, that she finally had the opportunity to have the avatar's physical embrace.
These are just amazing stories, right? How Baba drew these souls and laid these cables, as he said, the west and the east. So this lady waited to be 90 to actually get first glimpse of Baba and a personal contact. Yeah. And remember,
At
those
the,
days there was no video call, there was no YouTube, there's no video. It's amazing how Baba did all this.
Actually, last week, I was in Alaska. Okay, I was
Okay.
in Alaska and I was in Denali. Okay,
Hmm.
and there was one old family, means American family,
Hmm.
old one. I met them, husband, wife.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
and they said they were in India long time back when they were young.
Okay.
And he used
Okay.
to teach in IITs and all. He was kind of scientist. And his wife said, I spent a good time in India. And I visited to many spiritual places. Okay.
Hmm.
Then I asked her, which spiritual places you visited? Then she said, I went to many places in Ahmednagar also. And I show him, did you go to this Mehrabad, this Mehrabad? She said, yes, I went here.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
I went here
Ah.
when I was young. But then I like it. But then I came back and my contact has been, I don't have any contact with the Meher Baba now. Then I said, if you still wanted to contact, go to Myrtle Beach.
Mm.
Okay, go to Myrtle Beach. And then she said she was very excited. She was very eager to talk to me. I was discussing. Then I told her, I was just going outside. Let me come
Mm.
back and we can discuss more. But after that I came late and morning I just started early, and then I did not get the chance to talk to her. She was my neighbor in that hotel, actually, in that cabin.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, so that's how, means she was very old, maybe 90, 85, 90 years old.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I remember. We reading the story, I just remember it. So this is last week, actually. Last week, I was talking to that lady. Hopefully, she will go
Very
to Myrtle Beach.
interesting. Yeah, she
Mm,
will
yeah,
do some
yeah.
research, I'm sure.
Hopefully, she
Uh,
will go. Yes.
yes, Jai Baba. But you probably rekindled her contact with Baba in a more
Yeah.
in an unusual way.
Yes. Hopefully. Yeah. She said she visited to Mehrabad, actually, at her long
Fantastic.
time. Long time ago. Anyway, so let me
So,
continue.
by the way, I
Mhm.
think in Alaska, Baba made a contact with an agent as well. I will check that up and share. He did meet. There was some contact or something that happened in Alaska with Baba. So that's very interesting.
Oh,
So
okay.
you, yeah, I will check on that and share with everybody.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. In 1954, on Baba's 60th birthday, Mildred arranged a simple program at her home in Florida, in which a cup of spiced tea was passed to each guest while a prayer was recited. May Meher Baba bless this tea with health, happiness, and a new life of the spirit. The birthday cake was cut, and the first piece went to the invisible, omnipresent guest, Meher Baba. At the conclusion of the meeting, Mildred read her own composition, in which she emphasized the cardinal teaching of each avatar. About Meher Baba, she wrote, "The Lord of Love once more is here. His call to a world in need is to seize the life of endless strife and turn to the loving deeds. O world, give heed to that clarion call, proclaim it far and wide, while Meher Baba walks with man as lover, friend, and guide." With Baba's approval,
Beautiful, right?
Mildred-
Very, very
yeah,
beautiful lines that's so poetic and so truly representative of what Baba's Advent is about. Mind reading it again?
yes, the Lord of Love, the Lord of Love once more is here. His call to a world in need is to seize the life of endless strife and turn to the loving deeds. O world, give heed to that clarion call, proclaim it far and wide, while Meher Baba walks with man as lover, friend, and guide. So let me continue. With Baba's approval, Mildred moved to Yukon Dunes, the home of Elizabeth Patterson, in the latter part of 1954. Baba had stayed there during his visit to Myrtle Beach in 1952. Kitty Davy writes in her book, "Love alone prevails," that Mildred, in spite of her advanced age, was a help to her, and Elizabeth and her coming enabled Kitty to take a short vacation, which she needed. After staying at Yukon Dunes for several months, Mildred passed away following a stroke. Kitty remembers that near the end, while scarcely conscious, Mildred took Baba's photograph and kissed it. Baba was immediately notified of her death. He cabled the following reply: "Mildred has found eternal peace in me, Baba." Later, Mani wrote in her letter to the West, "She, Mildred, is with Baba. She was one of his own and he's come to her home in Baba." He particularly wished her to spend her last earthly days in Myrtle Beach and had therefore sent her a message to stay on. Ben Heman brought Mildred's ashes to India when he came for the 3 week stay in September 1954. A year later, in November 1955, Baba brought her ashes to Mehrabad from Merazat during one of the Savas program. Accompanied by a few mandali, he went immediately up the hill to a place that had been prepared next to the grave of Countess Nadine Tolstoy, the dear friend who had first told her of Baba. Don Stevens, who was present at that time and who had known Mildred, was asked to be in attendance in order to share the event with those who had known her back in America. The stone slab was lifted from the small grave. The man was silent as Baba rolled up his sleeves and gracefully lowered a cloth pouch containing Mildred's ashes. Then, for some time, he stood there, shielded from the afternoon sun by an umbrella, staring pensively at the grave of this great yet unassuming soul so dear to him. The slab was then over the placed back yeah, over the opening. Thus, in a simple manner, the touching occasion was concluded. On her tombstone are inscribed the words, "Mildred Kale has come to Baba." How fortunate she is to be among the intimate family who were selected by Baba to be interred near his final resting place, the Samadhi. Inside this Samadhi rests the human form of Avatar Mir Baba, so it is surcharged with Baba's divine presence. Hence, this place, the powerhouse, has become the center through which the Avatar's ever living infinite consciousness continues to function radiating his unconditional love and compassion to one and all who visit him. Grand
Beautiful.
and
So, meanwhile, I checked. It's not Alaska. It's Hawaii. I got confused. My bad. I'm
oh,
always
Hawaii
confused
also.
between those two places. Yeah, Hawaii, Baba. So he met an agent in an airport. So he
In
spent. Yeah.
where in Hawaii?
So
Honolulu.
uh, yes, Honolulu. So you can read about it in Lord Meher.
Okay. I went to Hawaii also, but not in that island. Other two islands.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So Baba was very. I remember, if I remember correct, I've not found it now. But he waited. There was a long layover in the airport, and Baba was. I think he was restless and pacing around in the airport, and everybody was suggesting you please take rest because we have a long wait and the next flight's coming up. But Baba was very restless, and finally there was a couple, the agent, who came and met them and brought food for everybody, and it was not at all planned. It was not expected or planned, but obviously Baba was waiting for them. So that's what I vaguely remember. I'll try to find that process of innocence and you. It's more take off on what you mentioned that you experienced in Alaska. So it's more maybe near you. Yeah, yeah.
So shall we continue?
Yes, yes. Grand and glorious.
Okay.
Yes.
Grand and glorious darshan at Wadia Park. September 12, 1954 was indeed a remarkable day in the annals of spiritual history of Ahmednagar. On this day, thousands came for Avatar Meher Baba's darshan at Wadia Park, now known as Gandhi Park in Ahmednagar. A huge pandal, a tent with no sides, had been erected for the occasion and was colorfully decorated and fitted with temporary lights and loudspeakers. Even before beloved Baba's expected arrival at 9 a.m., about 10,000 people had, had congregated in and around the pandal. According to Indian custom, the men were seated on one side, the women on other side. A dais had been erected at one end of the pandal, covered by carpets, and a beautifully upholstered chair was positioned there for Baba. Soft silken curtains draped all around added to the enchanting atmosphere. Rugs and coir mats had been laid out for the people to sit on, and place cards indicated the entrance and exit for Baba's darshan. A group of 17 Western men from the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia were seated close to the dais. They had come from their respective countries in response to the beloved invitation. Several of Baba's Mandali were seated there also. At exactly 9 o'clock, Baba arrived looking fresh and radiant. He strode gracefully to the dais and took his seat. Garge Maharaj, a well-known sant of Maharashtra, entered the pandal, approached Baba, and bowed down to him. Then Baba addressed the crowd, spelling out on his alphabet board, not as a man to man, but as God to God, I bow down to you, so as to save you the trouble of bowing down to me. While this announcement was being broadcast in English and Marathi, Baba descended the steps of the platform and prostrated himself before the assembled multitude. Again, he spelled out on the board to make you all share my feeling of being one with you and one of you. I sit down beside you. Baba then sat on the ground with the crowd, first with the men, then with the women. Before returning to the platform, Baba washed and wiped dry the feet of 7 men from poor families and placed his head on their feet. After this was done, the men stood in a line before Baba and he conveyed to them, as each of you is in one way or another as incarnation of God, I feel happy to bow down to you and lay at your feet with Dev Dakshina, a gift offered to God. Then he gave each of the man Dakshina of 51 rupees. By this time, Godavari Mai had arrived from Sakuri with some kanyas. Baba returned to his seat and then, in the presence of Godavari Mai and Gadi Maharaj, his arti was performed. This was followed by speeches honoring Baba's divinity and his spiritual work for the upliftment of humanity. Here are some excerpts from the welcome address given by the President of Ahmednagar County, which voiced the sentiments of the people of the district. Most adorable Sri Meher Baba, after a lapse of nearly 25 years, we, the people of the district of Ahmednagar, feel fortunate for being blessed by your august darshan. And on behalf of all the inhabitants of this district, I have the great privilege to welcome you wholeheartedly on this occasion when you have blessed us all through your great love and your holy darshan. Your ever peaceful and the ever smiling face and your ever bright eyes full of spiritual radiance are sufficient to fill any man with joy and to make him pay homage at your feet. On behalf of the men and women of the district, I most humbly offer this address to you with all devotion. While the speeches were being given, Baba expressed his happiness that Garge Maharaj, the great sant of Maharashtra, and Godavari Mai, the favorite disciple of his master, Upasni Maharaj, were present on the dais. At the conclusion of the speeches, Baba conveyed the one real thing to be understood is that the greatest hypocrite is he who himself being hypocrite asks others not to be hypocrite. Baba looked often with intense, compassionate feeling on the thousands gathered there for darshan, who gazed back at him with expectant eyes. The loveliness of his
One
presence.
second, one second. Just read
Yeah,
that hypocrite line again. Very, very profound. So, one who is a
yeah.
hypocrite himself cannot talk about
Yeah.
hypocrisy. So,
The
just
one
read
real
that
thing,
one line.
yeah, the one real thing to be understood is that the greatest hypocrite is he who himself being hypocrite asks others not to be hypocrite. So that's the word actually.
Yeah.
Baba, yeah. Baba looked often with intense compassionate feeling on thousands gathered there for darshan, who gazed back at him with expectant eyes. The loveliness of his presence filled their hearts with a rare delight that calmed their weird minds. Meher Baba had dictated special message in English for this occasion, which were read out in response to all the speeches by attending dignitaries,
Dignitaries. Dignitaries.
dignitaries. This message where Meher Baba's call, when I say I am the avatar, on my observing silence and how to love God, the avatar's word given at any time hold meaning for all time, and this seems especially true of these messages. The first message, Meher Baba's call, was read only in Marathi. The rest of the messages were given both in Marathi and in English and are reprinted.
Okay, I think we are out of time. So, you read up to here and then we'll read the
Yeah.
messages next week.
Reprinted below. The first relates to people's reaction to Baba's declaration of his avatarhood. The second concerns the divine mystery of his silence, and the third gives practical, everyday ways to love God.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, I think let's pause here and continue by reading the messages next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
very beautiful.
Yeah, Baba.
Okay. Any closing remarks before we wrap up?
Yeah, I was just suggesting that this uh, summary of the messages, we start with this 3 4 lines which are uh, where we stop, we read again and then read the messages,
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Yeah,
just to have a
this
continuity and
darshan
context.
program was quite historic in a sense that we have so
Yes.
many videos of this darshan program available. There are personal experiences of people who attended this darshan program, and the response was so overwhelming that the people could not take darshan of Baba actually in this, and
Oh.
because of this, another program in the trust office was arranged. Must have seen Baba sitting on a chair
Yes,
and meeting
yes.
people. That was done. I think a few days after this program, towards the end of September, if I'm not wrong, 6/27.
I
Yeah,
think that was referred to when
Mamaji.
we went to
Ah,
the
exactly.
trust
That's what,
office.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That's what I was going to say. By the way, there was a memorial, I think, celebrating 75 years of this, right? Or was it 50 years? Because they actually did, the trust conducted the memorial celebration at Wadia Park.
2004,
No, I think it was
50 years, or maybe
after 14, after, so maybe 75 would be
75 would
19,
be.
maybe.
No, no, no. 54 plus 75 would be 29, right? So,
Then I
so,
attended
so we can ask them to hold it
yeah, I will.
on
No, no, no.
29.
I'm sure I'll find a
They
reference
must
for
have
that.
just done a program without any such kind of
Ah,
milestone number, but they may have done. Yes, you may be right. Yeah,
yeah, maybe.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I happened to be there at that time, so
Okay.
they did it in Wadia Park, and we were all bussed from Mehrabad to there,
Yes,
and
yes.
then
Now I
there were
remember. Now I
speeches and
recall.
stuff.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was done.
yeah, yes. And it was, I mean, I just happened to be there. I did not go for that. So I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
happened to be there. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Jai
Thank you very
Baba.
much. Have a great Saturday and Sunday, and see you all tomorrow. Star Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Jai. Sultan
Jai
Meher
Baba.
Baba ki jai.
Atal Meher Baba ki jai.